Jesse James. Jesse James, once a Confederate guerrilla fighter during the Civil War, turned to crime after the conflict ended. With his brother Frank, he formed the James Younger Gang, targeting banks, stagecoaches, and trains across the Midwest. Their robberies were not simply theft, they were executed with calculated intimidation. James often entered banks armed, ordering civilians to lie on the floor at gunpoint while his gang emptied safes. In train raids, passengers were sometimes beaten for resisting, and railway guards were shot if they attempted to intervene. His reputation for cold efficiency made him one of the most feared men in the West. Butch Cassidy. Butch Cassidy, leader of the Wild Bunch Gang, specialized in meticulously planned robberies of banks and trains during the 1890s. While less impulsive than other outlaws, his operations were marked by force and intimidation. During the 1896 Montpelier bank robbery, armed gang members took control of the streets, forcing townspeople indoors while others emptied the vault. In train heists, guards were held at gunpoint and engineers were threatened with death if they resisted. Cassidy ensured quick escapes by pre-staging fresh horses along the route, frustrating lawmen for years. His coordination skills turned robberies into large-scale operations with ruthless precision. Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid, born Henry McCarty, became infamous for his role in the Lincoln County War in New Mexico during the late 1870s. Known for his quick draw and deadly aim, he participated in numerous shootouts, often killing rivals without hesitation. He was involved in the ambush and execution-style killing of Sheriff William Brady, an act of revenge tied to the conflict's violent feuds. Billy escaped from jail multiple times, killing deputies in the process. Despite his young age, reportedly 21 at his death, he claimed to have killed 21 men, one for each year of his life, earning a lasting reputation for ruthlessness. John Wesley Hardin. John Wesley Hardin was one of the deadliest gunfighters of the American West, credited with killing over 40 men. His violence often erupted over minor disputes. He once shot a man for snoring too loudly in a hotel. Hardin killed lawmen, Union soldiers, and civilians, showing little regard for human life. During his years on the run, he ambushed pursuing sheriffs and marshals, often shooting them in the back. He was known to use surprise attacks, giving victims no chance to defend themselves. His unpredictable temper and willingness to kill over trivial provocations made him feared across Texas and beyond. Bill Doolin. Bill Doolin led the Wild Bunch Gang in the 1890s, specializing in bank and train robberies across Oklahoma and Kansas. His gang was known for using violence to intimidate victims and escape law enforcement. Doolin personally participated in shootouts, often killing or wounding anyone who resisted. He coordinated raids with careful planning, pre-positioning horses and weapons for quick getaways. Doolin's willingness to use lethal force against lawmen and civilians alike made him one of the most feared outlaw leaders of the territory, with a reputation for ruthlessness that lasted even after his gang was dismantled. Sam Bass. Sam Bass specialized in robbing trains carrying large payroll shipments, often intended for miners or railway workers. His most famous heist was in 1877, when his gang intercepted a Union Pacific train in Nebraska and stole $60,000 in newly minted gold coins, a staggering sum at the time. Bass and his men were known for threatening crew members at gunpoint, forcing them to reveal hidden valuables or open secure compartments. In some robberies, passengers were ordered to surrender cash and jewelry under the watch of armed guards. His repeated strikes on payroll shipments disrupted businesses and spread fear across the rail lines. Johnny Ringo. Johnny Ringo, a notorious gunman of the Arizona Territory, was feared for his precision and cold-blooded demeanor. He was involved with the Cochise County Cowboys and participated in ambushes and murders of lawmen and rival factions. Ringo preferred planning attacks carefully, using intimidation and strategic positioning to gain the upper hand. In disputes, he often forced victims into deadly duels or executed them outright when resistance occurred. His reputation for carrying multiple pistols and readiness to shoot without hesitation made him a figure both respected and feared among outlaws and townsfolk alike. Clay Allison. Clay Allison was infamous for unpredictable and often unprovoked acts of violence. A former Confederate soldier, he developed a reputation as a gunman who killed over minor slights. He once shot a man in a saloon simply because he disliked the way the man looked at him. Allison was also involved in lynchings and extrajudicial killings, taking the law into his own hands and delivering brutal justice without trial. He reportedly decapitated one enemy and displayed the head as a warning. His readiness to escalate small disputes into deadly confrontations made him one of the most feared personalities of the frontier. Black Bart. Black Bart, born Charles Bowles, was known for robbing stagecoaches in California and Oregon during the 1870s and 1880s. Though he avoided direct violence more often than other outlaws, he threatened the lives of passengers and drivers to ensure compliance. His robberies involved brandishing pistols and issuing stern warnings, forcing victims to hand over valuables. On several occasions, he left behind poems mocking law enforcement, demonstrating both arrogance and psychological intimidation. While he rarely killed, his readiness to use firearms and his meticulous planning created an atmosphere of fear wherever he struck. The Dalton Gang. The Dalton Gang, active in the early 1890s, became notorious for combining robbery with sheer brutality. Their attacks targeted banks and trains across Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri, often escalating into deadly shootouts. Members were willing to fire indiscriminately, putting civilians and lawmen alike at risk. In Coffeyville, Kansas, their attempted simultaneous bank robberies ended in a violent massacre, leaving 4 gang members dead and several townspeople wounded. The Daltons' strategy relied on overwhelming force, intimidation, and the willingness to kill anyone who resisted. Their short but violent spree cemented their reputation as some of the most reckless and ruthless outlaws of the West. Wild Bill Hickok. Wild Bill Hickok was both a lawman and a feared gunslinger, known for his skill with revolvers and quick draw. He killed multiple men in shootouts, often during disputes over gambling, cattle, or personal insults. Hickok carried his pistols constantly, using them to enforce his version of justice when lawmen or rivals opposed him. He gained notoriety for maintaining calm under pressure and shooting with precision, making him both respected and feared. His willingness to kill quickly, even outside legal boundaries, cemented his place among the ruthless figures of the Wild West. Doc Holliday. Doc Holliday, a trained dentist turned notorious gunslinger, became infamous for his deadly skill with pistols during the Wild West era. Often accompanying Wyatt Earp, Holliday participated in shootouts and vigilante justice, showing little hesitation to kill in confrontations. He was involved in the infamous gunfight at the OK Corral, where he exchanged gunfire with members of the Clanton-McClory faction, demonstrating both precision and fearlessness. Beyond formal duels, Holliday reportedly killed in personal disputes and for intimidation, using his reputation and firearms to exert control over rivals. His combination of skill, illness-driven recklessness, and willingness to use lethal force made him a feared figure. Kid Curry. Kid Curry, also known as Harvey Logan, was a key member of Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch. He gained a reputation for extreme violence and a quick temper, killing lawmen and civilians alike during robberies and personal disputes. Curry was involved in multiple train and bank heists, often executing ambushes and shootouts with deadly precision. His attacks were ruthless. Anyone who resisted faced immediate death. Curry's skill with firearms, combined with his unpredictable aggression, made him one of the most dangerous outlaws of his time, leaving terror in every town he passed through. Big Nose George. Big Nose George Parrott, active in the late 19th century, became infamous for his violent robberies and brutal reputation across Wyoming. He was involved in stagecoach robberies, often ambushing travelers and threatening them with death to steal valuables. George was known for his cold-blooded behavior and willingness to shoot anyone who resisted or could identify him later. His outlaw career ended when he was captured and hanged, but his notoriety persisted due to the gruesome posthumous treatment of his body, which was displayed for public shock. His crimes and violent methods made him one of the most feared figures in the Wyoming Territory. Bob Dalton. Bob Dalton, brother of the infamous Dalton Gang, was notorious for his short temper and willingness to kill during robberies. He participated in bank and train heists across Kansas and Oklahoma, often using extreme violence to control victims. Bob favored ambushes and shootouts, and he did not hesitate to fire at lawmen or civilians who resisted. His impulsive nature ultimately contributed to the gang's downfall, but during his criminal career, he helped instill fear across the Midwest. His actions cemented his reputation as one of the ruthless and reckless figures of the Wild West. The Wild West wasn't just lawless, it was filthy. From dusty towns with hardly any bathing to saloons filled with unwashed bodies and spittoons at every corner, hygiene was shocking by today's standards. Outlaws lived hard and dirty lives, adding grime to their already ruthless reputations. If you thought the outlaws were wild, wait until you see the shocking hygiene secrets of the frontier. Check out our next video for the full story.